Kanye Omar West began writing poetry at 5 years old. Born in Atlanta on June 8, 1977, he and his mother, Dr. Donda West, had moved to Chicago after separating from his father, a former Black Panther and evangelical preacher. Brought up in a middle-class environment, Kanye quickly developed a passion for the arts, especially music, writing his first rap song, Green Eggs and Ham, by the time he was 13. Most parents might have written off his behavior as childish, but not Donda West. She actually rented out an entire studio for Kanye to record his song, showing just how supportive she'd always been. In fact, it was this encouragement from his mom, even after he had dropped out of college at the age 20, that allowed Kanye to go all in on his passion. Mentored by producer No ID, Kanye began sampling and producing a unique brand of beats that would later become his signature and help him land gigs with rap legends like Mase, Raekwon, and Eminem. At the age of 24, he got his big break when he produced Jay-Z's critically acclaimed album, The Blueprint, in 2001. Still, his real calling as a full-fledged rapper was yet to be realized. Despite his beat-making skills, no studio would accept Kanye's demo mixtape. He was just too different from the early 2000s gangsta rap of the time. It wasn't until a year later in 2002 when his rap career would finally take off. On October 23, 2002, Kanye was heading back to his hotel room after a late night in the studio. After falling asleep at the wheel, he suffered a near-fatal head-on collision that broke his jaw in several places. Treated at the same hospital where Biggie Smalls died, Kanye left the infirmary with his jaw wired shut as part of intense reconstructive surgery. He was in such poor condition that some didn't think he would speak again, let alone rap. But just 2 weeks after the incident, Kanye recorded the track that would finally throw him into the limelight. Rapping through a wired jaw, Through the Wire kickstarted Kanye's rap career and convinced Rockefeller to let him produce his own album the following year. The College Dropout ended up selling 440,000 copies its first week and evened out at number 2 on Billboard's Top 200. The debut album solidified Kanye's place in the rap game as an alternative to the dominant gangsta rap at the time. And to this day, it's still his best-selling album. Over the next few years, Kanye would transition from celebrity to pop culture icon following a series of bold antics.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
A short-lived clothing line called Pastel, and 2 follow-up albums titled Late Registration and Graduation. With his music, Kanye had pioneered a new electronic sound in hip-hop, marked by the success of his Graduation album, which outsold 50 Cent's album Curtis by over 300,000 during their first week. Kanye was now the newly crowned king of hip-hop and seemingly untouchable. That is, until 2 weeks later when his whole world came crashing down. On November 10th, 2007, Dr. Donda West passed away, allegedly due to health complications from cosmetic surgery. The tragic death of his mother, who he still says was the biggest sacrifice for his fame, changed Kanye forever. Feeling more despondent than ever before, Kanye took refuge in Honolulu, where he began to pour all his energy into his next project. Harnessing the power of a newly developed tool known as Auto-Tune, Kanye transmuted his pain into one of the most transformative rap albums of all time, 808s and Heartbreak. But in 2008, it was met with mixed reviews. People ridiculed his use of the new music tool. It wasn't until the next generation of rappers inspired by this album, which includes names like Travis Scott, Drake, and Juice WRLD, that Kanye's choice of Auto-Tune would be vindicated. From there, he began to give in to the rockstar lifestyle, eventually culminating in his iconic scandal at the 2009 Video Music Awards. Now disgraced, Kanye retreated back to Hawaii in a self-imposed exile that caused people to wonder if he would ever be able to step back into the limelight. In 2010, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy debuted at number 1 on the US Billboard 200 and sold 496,000 copies, eventually reaching 2 million to achieve double platinum status. After dropping Amber Rose for Kim Kardashian and 2 new decade-defining albums, Kanye now had more power than ever. He was primed to forge his way in a whole new industry: fashion. Accompanied by the release of his collaboration album with Jay-Z and after an internship with Fendi, Kanye signed a shoe deal with Nike to create the Nike Air Yeezys in 2009. Only a small batch of shoes was made and they sold out almost instantly, at $245 a pair. Like with Pastel, he built huge hype around the release of his shoe, stoking the flames of public interest. Then, when the product was released, the limited amount ensured that supply never fulfilled demand. The hyper-limited sneakers released in 2 models, the Air Yeezy 1 and Air Yeezy 2, and were resold on sites like eBay for prices as high as $4,000 for a single pair. Quickly taking note of his selling power, Kanye demanded royalties from all shoe sales like a professional athlete. Only problem was, Kanye wasn't an athlete and Nike wasn't budging. Feeling creatively stifled, Kanye's resentment for the status quo grew even stronger. His power started to fade and he began to feel more and more like a slave to the industry. Never one to conform, Kanye fired back with his most experimental album yet. Inspired by the minimalistic aesthetic at the Louvre and his time in Paris, Yeezus cemented his status as a pop culture icon. This was also around the time when his first daughter North was born, and in his most profitable, non-business move ever, Kanye married Kim Kardashian in May of 2014. Following that was a slew of business deals, including becoming a shareholder for a new streaming service by Jay-Z called Tidal, which aimed to give artists complete creative freedom. Because of his stake in the company and the exclusive rights he provided to his music, he likely saw a healthy revenue stream. However, in 2017, he claimed that the company owed him more than $3 million and he threatened to part ways. On the fashion side of things, right as his contract with Nike expired, Kanye inked a $10 million deal with Adidas to create the now multi-billion-dollar Yeezy brand. In 2015, the first season, the high-top Yeezy Boost 750 came to fruition. Only 9,000 Season 1 boosts were created for the launch and they sold out within 10 minutes. Next was the Yeezy Season 1 Duck Boot 950, the most expensive Yeezy sneaker ever released. Ushered in, finally, with his 2016 album The Life of Pablo, Yeezy followed up with the release of Yeezy Season 2 and 3 before Adidas announced a long-term contract, branching Yeezy out into sports performance products. This deal would end up making West millions as he negotiated full brand ownership alongside a 15% royalty on the sale of his shoes, an unheard of amount in terms of royalty fees. For comparison, Michael Jordan only had a 5% royalty agreement with Nike for his Air Jordan deal. This means that for every shoe or piece of clothing sold, Kanye pockets 15%. Today, the sneaker line is considered one of the most influential shoe brands in the world as he continues to release new designs and models, each ranging from $200 to over $500 a pair. Prior to Nike and Adidas, West also had another shoe collaboration, this time with Louis Vuitton. He released 3 styles of the shoe under this partnership entitled Don's, Mr. Hudson's, and Jasper's. Each had a price tag of around $1,000, with his early designs still being valuable today. At one point, the Jasper was referred to as the most valuable trainer in the world by Farfetch, with some reselling for over $20,000. But Despite the big business and music moves, in 2016, Kanye tweeted he was $53 million in debt. He tried to get Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook to invest $1 billion in what he called Kanye West ideas. It doesn't appear this ever happened, but as it turns out, Kanye didn't really need the money anyway. Today, Kanye, though the latter end of his music career has been rocky, was declared the highest paid artist in hip-hop, making around $150 million in 2019, according to Forbes. In fact, as of 2020, Kanye has sold over 21 million hard copies of his albums and over 100 million digital copies. Album sales aren't his only moneymaker in the music biz either. The sale of his merchandise, the tickets for all his concerts and tours, and paid performances nets him big dollars. Some websites estimate that West charges more than $500,000 for a private performance, and that is probably just the base fee. To see how the numbers add up, let's go ahead and assume that, on average, Kanye does 2 shows per month. That means he's bringing in $1 million every single month in bookings alone. Breaking it down, he's making $250,000 a week and $35,000 per day, bringing the yearly total to approximately $12 million. On the other hand, to see him in concert, you can expect to pay $115 per ticket, and venues can seat 65,000 or more. So, you can imagine how much dough he's raking in each show. Kanye is involved in more than just his own hits too. He founded Good Music, his own record label and music production company, which stands for Getting Out Our Dreams. Since 2004, he has partnered with Sony BMG, and the label has signed big names like John Legend, Pusha T, Big Sean, and more. In fact, it was this label that acted as the incubator for now AAA rap star and Kanye protege, Travis Scott. It is unknown how much Kanye earns from the label, but because of his history of signing popular artists, one can estimate that it's quite a lot of money. The majority of his money comes from Yeezy, especially when the brand is championed by his wife, Kim Kardashian, who regularly wears pieces of his upcoming collection for publicity. The fact that Yeezy doesn't have any brick-and-mortar stores to fund or staff to pay for, but instead relies on Adidas, keeps his profits high and his overhead low. And while Yeezy is his biggest money maker, that doesn't stop him from pursuing other ventures. With his wife, he owns a slew of real estate worth $21 million. In a 2018 interview, he claimed he desired to be one of the biggest real estate developers of all time. He's also working on a branch of Yeezy that is collaborating with home designers to plan the first Yeezy home. No matter what he does, it seems Kanye always has the magic touch. Finally, his residual income from streaming is no slouch either. On Spotify, Kanye has claimed the 47th spot for the most streamed artists in the world, with over 30 million monthly listeners. Every month, Spotify streams earn the artist over $120,000. Totals from 1 week average $30,000, and totals per day are hovering right around $4,200. On Apple Music, since total streams are not exact, let's assume he streams about half the amount he does on Spotify. With 15 million monthly streams, that would put his monthly earnings at the $75,000 mark. After breaking that down, he makes almost $19,000 per week and about $2,600 a day. YouTube is a big hitter for many artists, and Kanye stands near the top of that mountain. With over 25 million monthly views, West is totaling $75,000 a month, $18,750 a week, and about $2,670 per day. Bringing together income from his live shows, streams, Yeezy brand, and other ventures, Kanye West, the businessman, is no joke. From producing songs for Jay-Z, to marrying Kim Kardashian, to launching Yeezy, Kanye's climb to the 3 Comma Club definitely wasn't without controversy, but it's clear he worked hard and wasn't afraid to take risks. This is the story of how Kanye West rose from college dropout to modern-day billionaire.